Welcome back to another episode of Jason's Bricks and 5, where I discuss LEGO content and videos of around 5 minutes. Well, time out. Normally I try to discuss LEGO content and videos of around 5 minutes. This video is probably going to be longer because I am going to show you my recent Black Friday purchase. I bought the LEGO Light and Color Sensor. And so we're going to try to implement this on a train and play around and see if we can figure out how it works. Because my thought is this can be a really great solution for someone like me. I used to have my LEGO train in my city. It was a small loop because my city is not big to start with. And the problem is those curves just take up so much space. The way that they go at a radius that you can't really use a lot of the regular buildings around there. You can build stuff, but for the size I have, it would just take up too much space. So I think I can put in like a tram line where it will go just a straight line back and forth. And that's kind of a compromise. It'll be a good way to be able to add that in the city. So we're not going to actually add it in the city. We're just going to play around with this and see if we can figure out how to make it work. I have a powered up train here, so we've pulled out my old train parts here. We've got them ready to go. So we'll just start with this. I only need the powered part to start with because we're just testing. And we'll go ahead and take some track and a couple of colored tiles, build a path, and then we'll see if we can get it figured out. Okay, so we've got our train, we've got our sensor, and then we're going to need a piece like this to attach it, and I'll show you how this is going to work. So we'll uncover our powered up hub, and what we're actually going to do is we've got to take this part off the bottom because we've got to be able to get to this access hole, and that's what I'm going to use for attaching the sensor. So first we'll run the wire through there because you'll notice this is a bit of a tight fit, but what we're going to do is put it in this way. Once we get that through, we will attach this piece to the hub, or to the sensor, excuse me, and get that to stick on there. Alright, so you can see that I've attached it here this way, and it's coming out the bottom. And what we're going to do is make sure we plug this into port B. So we've got the motor in A, the sensor in port B. It's very important to remember that because later on when we program the sensor, we need to tell port A to do certain things and we need to tell port B to do other things. So, all right, so we've got that there. So you'll notice with the sensor, you can see it's got power in there. We won't be putting this piece back on because that would block the sensor. If I was doing a permanent build in the city, I might try to come up with some way to kind of hide that. But for these purposes, we'll just leave it this way where it's exposed. And the next part we'll do is we'll just build our test track. All right, so we have our test all set up here, at least our physical components. We've got our train ready to go. And you can see we've got our track. I just picked a length about the distance of the table. You'll notice on this end we have a green 2x2 tile. On this end we have a red one. And those are the colors we'll use to test this and see if we can get it to do a couple different things. Maybe we'll do a simple start and stop test, and then we can maybe do something a little more complex. Now, I am not going to walk through all of the features and functions of the Powered Up app and what you can do with the sensor. I'm just kind of trying to figure it out myself. There is a video that I watched. It was kind of the first one that I saw that was really helpful for me. And I'll put a link in the description below. It was from a creator named Mockerhead. And he seemed to be pretty knowledgeable about how these functions work. But I'm going to see if we can use some of that and get my train to work. All right, so first off, we'll take our phone and go into the app. So when you first log in, up at the top you go to Create, and you will click the plus to start a new one. Now we have to name the actions for the motor. I believe the limit is 12 characters. We'll go ahead and set this up under color sensor. Now you have the option of either using the app or you can actually use the remote that comes with it. We're just going to go with the app today. Now you'll notice there's a lot of buttons to start with, but over on the right, we're going to click on these three dots and then this single Lego brick and click on the three, and you'll see this opens up a lot more options for us. And now we're ready to go. So we'll start with the play button and we'll put that as the first component. And then we'll select the second option on the list, which is the motor. And we're going to do the first one, and you'll see that's a play button. You'll see that's set to hub A. And you'll see that it's running at 50% power. So we've got that in there. And now we're going to add our color sensor. So you go to the little eyeball icon, and we'll add that. And you'll notice that's on hub A, but we're going to switch that to B because that's where the sensor is plugged into. And we're going to leave that as the red color. So the last component we've added has told it when it comes across a red color that it's going to be taking the next action. So we're going to go back to the motor and use the motor symbol with the stop. And once the sensor finds that, it will stop. We'll now go ahead and put an end component in here, and that will put an end to our rules. So basically the train is going to start when we hit play. When it comes to the red sensor, it will stop, and that is the end of the rules we've given it. All right, so we have our first simple run and stop test. Let's see if we can get it to work. I got nervous, but it looks like it worked. So let's go ahead and see if we can make it a little more complex. Maybe make it come down the way and then go back. All right, so we'll go back into our rule. We'll go back out and start a new one. Again, we'll name this one, let's name it Color Sensor 2. However, we're at a character limit, so let's take out the space and we'll just add the 2 at the end, I guess. Again, it's a 12 character limit, it appears. And we'll select the app option again, and we'll start from scratch. First step, we'll start with the play button again. Just like last time, we're then going to go and add the power to the motor. Again, A with 50% power. And we can adjust that as needed. So let's go ahead and lower that. We'll go at 30%. Then we're going to go ahead and add the color sensor part again. Again, got to switch it to B. We'll leave that as the red color. And now we're going to go back to the motor because we want it to stop again. So this is just like we did the last time. Now we're going to add a new component. You'll see in that first section of options, we'll add that hourglass. And we can select the time. So let's go ahead and set that for 5 seconds. So it's now going to go down, stop for 5 seconds, and then a new component. So the motor is going to start again. Now let's go ahead and change the power on this. We'll go to a number of -20. There we go, got 20. That's going to make it actually go backwards. That's what the minus does. Again, still on hub A, so we're good. And we'll go back to the sensor. And this one, we're going to do the green tile. So we'll go ahead and add the eyeball, change it again to sensor B, or hub B, excuse me. And we'll pick the green tile. And you see there's multiple options there, but we'll just go with that for now. And then once it hits that green tile, we'll have it stop. And now we're going to go ahead and use this part that allows us to basically make it an infinite loop. All right, so we want these components in that little gap, I guess you might say, of the end piece. It's a little bit tricky here. Let's move to the end. There you can see that gap. Because we want those to be in there, because what's going to happen is it's going to play all of those, and then you'll see that it's got the infinite loop. There we go. We got those in there, so let's move this back to the play button. And I think our components are all ready to go. Now you notice we didn't put any space or anything after that last stop, so it's immediately going to start the cycle again. All right, so let's go ahead and see if that more complex setup will work. Again, we should see the train come down to this red sensor here, and it will stop. Probably just about close enough to freak me out that it's going to fall off the table, but it should stop around here, and then it will wait 5 seconds, and then it will come back to the green sensor here. Now, once it hits this green sensor, we did not put any command to have it stop or wait there. We could certainly do that. You know, we can have it do multiple different things, but we just have it set where it's going to come down, hit this, wait 5 seconds, come back, and as soon as it hits the green one, it's going to start that cycle over because we set that infinite loop or recycle setting on the end. So it should just continue to do that as long as we let it run, or I guess until the batteries die. Got nervous, but you can see it came down, it stopped. Should pick up in just a second, and there you go. So that is really cool. You can see we figured it out. You can see how it didn't stop and it just kind of immediately went back. So I think this is really great. It's simple enough. I mean, even I figured it out. So I think a lot of people can figure out the app and work with it that way. But I'm gonna play around with it and see what we can do, because there's other features. I believe you can do like distance setting and some other things. So it should be fun to see what kind of configurations we can come up with. Makes me nervous every time it comes to the end that it's going to jump off the table. But I think this would be great for someone like me. I've got a small city and those curves are just too hard to fit a train in there. But I'll be able to go ahead and, you know, put maybe a straight tram line, and I can have it come down. I can have it wait for a little bit, go back to the other station, things like that. So I think this is a great, inexpensive way, assuming you have a train with a power-up hub. That part is not cheap, I get. But, you know, for essentially $10 or $12, I guess, if you get it on regular price, you'd be able to go ahead and create a programmable function for your city and really bring that life to your city, even on a small one like mine. So that's going to do it. Let me know, do you have the light and power sensor, or excuse me, the light and color sensor? And, you know, have you found it easy to use? And what are some things you've done? Because I know there's other things beyond trains you can do with it. So that's going to do it for this episode of Jason's Bricks in 5. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on another episode. Happy building.